Hi everyone, my name's Dylan. I manage reservations across multiple Journey Beyond businesses, including that of the iconic GAN. My role centers on improving processes, reducing manual handling, and ensuring that the system operates as efficiently and reliably as possible. Coming into this unit, I expected to gain practical tools to improve efficiency, but what I didn't expect was how much it would shift the way in which I think about operational design and management decision making. In this presentation, I'll walk you through 5 key learnings from the unit, some that I anticipated, others that I didn't, and reflect on how it shaped my management practice, particularly through my work in AT1 and AT2. The first major learning was the practical power of lean principles. Before this unit, I understood lean conceptually: remove waste, improve efficiency, but I hadn't fully anticipated how intentionally identifying non-value adding activities can transform a system. Lean focuses on waste, or activities that consume time but don't add customer value. That really resonated with me. In reservations, manual availability checks, duplicated confirmations, and unnecessary approval loops are all examples of process waste. Through this lens, even small operational refinements become meaningful. For example, automating availability checks removes manual intervention, reduces error risk, and improves flow. That's lean thinking in action, designing a system around value and flow, not tradition. And honestly, when you reduce a 5-step process to 3, you can almost feel that system breathing again. And that moment really cemented lean for me as more than theory. It's a design philosophy. The second key learning was strengthening structured analytical decision making. Before this unit, I made decisions confidently, but they were often based on experience and intuition. What I gained here was a more disciplined approach to defining problems, analyzing root causes, and evaluating solutions systematically. A few different frameworks really helped to encourage me to slow down and examine operational issues more rigorously. In my AT1, when I examined booking confirmation first booking logic using free sale inventory and API enabled availability, the analytical breakdown clarified inefficiencies in the existing process. Rather than just suggesting improvement, I could articulate why the change improved flow, reduced risk, and increased system reliability. That structured logic strengthened both my recommendations and my confidence presenting them to leadership. The third learning was understanding how different operational improvement frameworks apply differently depending on the context. Transactional reservation processes lend themselves well to lean thinking, as standardization, flow optimization, and waste reduction. But in AT2, when I analyzed group reservations, I encountered a completely different operational environment. Group bookings are high value, they're relationship led, and they're often variable. They involve contracts, inventory allocations, and there's a lot of risk exposure. Here, improvement just isn't just about speed. It's about governance, risk management, and balancing flexibility with control. Applying operational improvement frameworks helped me identify inefficiencies while also protecting organizational risk. It reinforced that operational improvements isn't just a one-size-fits-all. The framework must match the operational environment, and that contextual awareness was a major shift in my thinking. The fourth key learning was the importance of change management, and this was a really big one for me. Operation improvement is not purely technical, it's behavioral. You can redesign a system perfectly, but if stakeholders don't understand or support that change, implementation fails. The unit highlighted the importance of stakeholder engagement, communication clarity, and anticipating resistance. In my AT1, for example, recommending changes to booking logic required thinking beyond system capability. How would operations teams adapt? Would they trust automation? What training would be needed? That perspective reminded me that sustainable improvement requires both process redesign and human alignment. This learning has changed how I adapt and approach my change initiatives. I now think as much about adoption strategy as I do about operational logic. The fifth learning was reinforcing a continuous improvement mindset. Before this unit, I often focused on resolving immediate operational pain points. Now, I step back and I question whether the underlying process design needs to change. Continuous improvement means constantly asking, is this process still fit for purpose? Where's the value being lost? Where's the risk being introduced? It's no longer about just fixing the issues. It's about designing systems that evolve deliberately. This mindset now underpins how I approach reservation workflows, reporting structures, and team processes. Improvement isn't episodic, it's ongoing. In AT1, I recommended implementing a confirmation first booking logic supported by free cell inventory and API-enabled availability. Through process analysis, I identified bottlenecks caused by delayed confirmations and manual intervention. The recommendation improved booking flow, reducing process delays, and strengthened system availability. What stood out for me was how small analytical adjustments at a system level can produce significant operational impact. It also reinforced how structured analysis leads to more credible, defensible recommendations. In AT2, I focused on group reservations, a more complex and risk-sensitive operational area. Applying operational improvement frameworks helped identify inefficiencies in approval workflows, allocation tracking, and communication loops. More importantly, it highlighted governance considerations, ensuring that improvements did not compromise risk control or contractual integrity. This assessment reinforced that operational improvement must balance efficiency with oversight. It also showed me how theoretical models can directly guide practical workplace decisions, not abstractly but tangibly. Reflecting on this unit, the biggest shift for me is how I now view operational problems. I no longer just see them as isolated inefficiencies. I see them as a systems design question. I approach decisions more analytically. I consider stakeholder alignment more deliberately, and I actively look at process level redesign opportunities rather than just surface level fixes. It's also influenced how I lead. I'm more intentional about coaching my team to think critically about workflows and to question legacy practices. The theory from this unit is no longer abstract, it's embedded in how I operate daily. To conclude, the unit reinforced 5 major areas for me: lean principles, structured analytical decision making, application of operational improvement frameworks, change management, and continuous improvement mindset. More than anything, it reshaped how I evaluate system risk and operational design. The tools and the frameworks I've gained are not just academic concepts, they are practical instruments I now use to make our operations more efficient, more resilient, and more strategically aligned. Thank you.